Hello, I'm Louie.
I'm Tony, and this is Talking During the Movie.
It's the Talking During the Movie podcast with your hosts, Louis Gravance and Tony Whitten.
All right, welcome back. This week, we are doing Matthew McConaughey and Christopher Nolan.
See, I think there's going to be trouble this week. I
You
really
think
do.
so?
Because I have a sense we're going to go at it at this.
Christopher Nolan's latest venture, Interstellar.
I have no idea how you're going to react to this motion picture.
Really?
This is not fair because you have read my review, so you know where I have no... I would not... And I am a betting man, as we've established. I would not throw a dime down on this. I could see you going either way on this.
You could see me going in 5 different dimensions,
Because you
perhaps?
get real prickly about this kind of stuff, so we'll go...
Really?
Yeah, so I'm fascinated.
Well, I'm going to say I really like this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was very well done. I think of all of his movies, though, it does take the biggest leap of imagination to really get into it and appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
You because there's sometimes, like, in a lot of his movies, they're like, whoa, what just happened, or, oh, that is amazing. This movie's like, wait a minute, what? Wait, what? Just...
Well, that's in all of his films. There's always
but I'm saying this takes the biggest leap of that.
There's always
like
a
Inception
moment.
blew a lot of people's minds, but this kind of goes, what?
There is always a moment in a Christopher Nolan movie where it feels like somebody is explaining something to you that made sense to them last night when they were high. That's not
Like,
quite.
I had it.
It's like it's almost there.
Wait.
Now I'm going to say that
I wrote it down, but I can't read it.
I would recommend this movie. This is an event movie.
Yes.
It's an ambitious movie.
Yes.
He's going for it. It's not just, oh, here's another thing.
Yeah, this is like a tentpole. movie.
He's really going for something special. Having said that, there are certain caveats. I think you have to go in knowing I'm not the brightest bulb in the marquee, but I'm not the dimmest.
Right.
And there are going to be times where you'll know narratively what's going on, but specifically you'll have no freaking idea what they're talking about.
Well, it helps to have like some science specifics behind it. And they do their best to explain some of it, but some of it they take it for granted. Like, all right, you know about Einstein's theory of relativity. They don't really explain that too much, but they mention it several times to go over like the time shifting that's going on in the movie.
Occasionally they'll get into a discussion like what's going to happen to them as they try to get through the black hole.
Right.
And just not a clue.
Well, they don't want to bore the audience with too much science. I think they'll give you just enough, and then they go, all right, now that you've got that, we're going to do what we want with it.
I saw it with a packed house, packed out, at the IMAX theater, and it happens, and 3 hours later, the loud climax happens, and it ends. And I was expecting, instead, there was sort of this collective, like, whoa.
Yeah. The third act.
I think it was good.
The third act. Whoa. Yeah. So I think there was where it had gone in a different direction. There might have been that momentum.
Plus, it is weird. He's like he's almost like a savant child in that 99% of this whole thing will be so perfect, and then there's like this weird okay, I'm done. I got to finish now. Because what is it? He spends so much time on every technical aspect. Like, can he not figure out to turn down the music every once in a while? This is a problem that he has. Do you remember when they put out that Batman trailer with Tom Hardy, and nobody could understand a word the villain said?
Well, they still couldn't even when the movie came
Okay,
out.
but he got all defensive about it and said, well, I'm going to remix the sound and all that. But he has a tendency to do that. And I heard several people on the way out go, you got Matthew McConaughey doing that thing that he's doing. And then you've got this bum, 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 him trying to sort of replicate the pomp and circumstance of 2001, and which a lot of this is to Stanley Kubrick, I think.
Serious homage, yeah.
But so I mean, again, I would recommend this with strong caveats that
it's not for everybody. It really isn't. You have to go in with the right mindset and like really appreciate. It's more like for film lovers. So for the general audience, I think it would be a little bit harder.
Well, it depends on
a lot of people could appreciate it, but I don't think it's not for everybody. It can be a tough movie to sit through.
And there's something I want to settle right now because you're one of those people that bags on Anne Hathaway, aren't you?
No.
No, really?
No.
For a few years ago, as it got
Hathaway.
real trendy to bag on Gwyneth Paltrow. Lately,
What's
I've
wrong
noticed
with Gwyneth
I
Paltrow?
know, okay, I'm there, but I hear a lot of this. It's been real trendy to bitch slap Anne Hathaway for a while, and I'm like, you know what? Back off.
The Princess Diaries?
She's
Who
really...
would do that to her?
No, lots of people. It's been very cool to do that.
Love and other drugs? Who
Why
would do
does
that
she,
to her?
sing with snot in her nose? It's the whole thing. But I think that she's great, and I think she's great in this movie.
Oh, she's lovely in this movie.
I think she's real good.
I thought everyone did a good job.
Now, okay, so the long and the short of it is the entire meaning of life will be explained to you in 2 hours and 47 minutes,
And you still won't get it.
and you won't understand it, but it's there for you to contemplate.
Yeah, I feel like maybe that was done on purpose so that they made it so like mind bendy and taking the science and taking an extra leap on that, so that you have to come back and spend your money again and go, wait a minute, all right, I'm going to get it this time. I'm sure if I just watch it a little bit closely and pay a little more attention, it'll make a little more sense.
But is that good movie making or is that masturbation? I mean, no, I mean, that's kind of a
if you want
weird
to see
thing.
masturbation on film, other than like the internet, watch a Quentin Tarantino movie lately. But for this, I don't think it didn't come off to me
A
as
Woody Allen movie in like the mid '90s.
To me, it didn't come off as self-indulgent, not overly anyway. To me, it was like more Christopher Nolan than any of the other movies. But putting your stamp on it isn't necessarily self-indulgent.
One other tiny flaw is that the character. Okay, it's about this nuclear family, whatever. The brother comes and goes in the narrative at will and conveniently. And that was an interesting story. I would have liked to know more why, the whole world is falling apart, and these people, and you've seen the trailer, they've got to get off the earth before everything dies. And some people are very, very stubborn about leaving. And those people that they interview at the beginning, those are people that survived the Dust Bowl.
Yeah.
And that are talking about it. And so anyway, so the brother doesn't want to go. He thinks he wants to stay while everything's going down. So anyway, I feel that they just sort of leave that story off and on occasionally.
I feel like he was part of like some extraneous things in there that for whatever reason were put in, but like you could have still told the story without certain little elements in there. And I think that was one of them, that it wasn't quite explained what was so important to have that character in there.
Now,
you probably could have told it without him.
I have no idea what happened at the end.
No?
I have no idea.
I'll tell you when we're done here.
I have no idea, really.
Scott knows.
What happened at the end?
Without spoiling it?
Yeah.
Well, we got after. We can't do it for we can't spoil the ending.
It wouldn't spoil it. It speaks to the power of love in addition to the power of gravity to reach across time and space.
I rest my case.
Anne Hathaway said that in the movie.
I know.
And she said it very well.
There you go.
But
really, okay.
That's what the Force was all about. It's about trusting your heart rather than the science. That's what part of what makes Star Wars.
I recommend it with caveats. It's sort of like Gravity with another hour and no George Clooney.
Right.
I mean, it's long.
It's long, but it didn't feel like this is such a long movie.
I was ready.
Like Transformers.
Well, no. Well, that's just
you could have cut an hour and a half out of that.
Right.
It still would have been an hour and a half of your life you never got back. But I didn't. There was like slower parts, but it didn't feel like slow. Like there was enough to keep you interesting because there was always something new going on. There's some new task to complete or some hurdle that had to be overcome, and sometimes you have to question what is going on, and they try to make an explanation, and I think it's just enough to justify what you saw.
I think
just enough.
For many people, it's going to be like when I went to Victoria and Albert's to eat that
Lovely
fine
restaurant.
dining experience, right? And it's like $180 to get in, whatever. And I knew that what was in front of me was spectacular, but I didn't want to eat it. And I didn't know how. My palate wasn't really sophisticated. I was like, I didn't like it. Not because it wasn't good, but because I didn't really have a comfortable way of wrapping my head around it or my taste around it. And I think for many people, this film is going to do the same thing. I think they're going to go, yes, this is a very good movie, but they don't
know why it's a very good movie.
I can't connect to it. Well, there's a commitment to what's going on, and but I think for a lot of people, it's going to be hard for them to make the emotional connection between the first hour and the third hour.
Yeah. Like I said, it's not for everybody. It can be hard to connect to, so I think some people will be lost in that. But I don't like it simply because it's a spectacle, so it must be a good movie. I'm sure there are some people that will simply go, I didn't get what was going on.
Just go, but be careful because this movie is going to be overpraised. If I could be jaded, I think the movie is going to be overpraised. And because it is so ambitious.
Movie of the century.
Well,
no,
yeah,
really
well, because it is trying to be an important movie, and it's acting like an important movie.
Right.
But be warned.
I would say it is acting like an important movie, whether it meant to or not.
Yes, every
acting like
strand of the
Yeah.
over loud music, it's telling you that you are seeing something important.
Yeah, I feel like someone is. It's like they're creating something. Everything just has to be exactly
So-
perfect and just right. And look at all this. And it's gilded and it's got neutrons coming out of it. And,
If only I just didn't turn the sound up too loud.
right.
Yeah. So
Well, you can just sit in the back of the theater. Where the sound doesn't.
I just think it's
Further.
you
Just
can't- it's
sit
not like
further
a
away from the speakers.
drive-in. You
Sit
can't
further away from the speakers. That's fine.
All right. Anyway, but I go see an IMAX because if you're gonna go for it.
This is one of those movies like Gravity, where if you have the money and you have the inclination, by all means, spend the money for the 3D and the IMAX.
Well,
and
he
all
won't
that.
do it in 3D. And I was just gonna say, of all of his movies, this would have been a marvelous 3D motion picture.
Well, he was already filming with IMAX, so I don't know if you're going to do double 3D IMAX. And he's
I just
already,
think it would've been
he's already spent
great.
a ton of money on this.
Well,
But I like the visuals. I like. You want those?
no.
Okay. I'll just put those over there. But it is a spectacle of a movie. So if you like the amazing visuals, if you get into the science, by all means go see it. But I can't recommend it for absolutely everyone. The way like Big Hero 6 would be like a family movie, you could take just about anyone to that. It's because some of it's tough. Some of it's tough to get through.
In the same way that 2001 was in the 60s. People
Right.
went to it, and frankly...
I still don't get that.
well,
one.
I'm saying, frankly, most people were like...
Great filmmaking, but I
And-
feel like the second half is missing from it.
Well, and...
I'm like, now what happens?
well, see, and there's other people think it's a perfect motion picture.
Those people are wrong.
No, well, my partner husband thinks it's one of the most perfect films ever made.
I think it might be perfect filmmaking, but as far as a story narrative, it's missing
Okay,
something.
well, then he has succeeded. Christopher Nolan has given you 2001: A Space Odyssey for this decade.
with a beginning and an end.
There you
it
go.
almost like wraps around itself.
And if that appeals to you,
So-
run, don't walk.
the beginning is the end. So, yes, I would recommend this. Probably nominated for Best Picture. I don't think it'll win.
It's going to be nominated.
I don't think it'll win.
Well, what's going to
Well, we'll
beat
see.
it at this point?
Well, we still got another month and a half.
All right, but it's yeah,
Let's see.
it's
Crash one. for
It's
crying out
all
loud. We'll
going to
see
be
what's gonna
nominated. Everything about it's going to be nominated.
Visual effects, probably.
Everything. Music, editing. Anne Hathaway, everybody.
Jessica Chastain,
Yeah,
supporting
Jessica
actress.
Chastain. Maybe even Ellen Burstyn will be thrown in there because she's old.
She did like fifth billing, and she wasn't in it.
Well, but she's important.
That was interesting to see her.
There you
yeah.
go.
Everyone shows up in this movie. We're not going
Right.
to spoil who made, but like every
Oh,
5 minutes.
and there's a special guest star.
And that did kind of jar me a little bit. That all of a sudden these
We won't
people
tell
are
you.
popping up. I'm like, this person's in this movie.
Well,
this person's in the movie.
I had heard there was going to be a special guest star. So, and you hear, they keep talking about Dr. Man. So,
Right.
eventually you're going to meet Dr. Man, and I figured that was going to be the special guest star.
Right. And again, my friend who doesn't know anything, like, who's that?
How could
So-
you not know who Dr. Man is?
She doesn't see a lot of movies. Anyway,
You'll know who it is.
You'll know
It's
who
sort of fun,
yes, if you like movies, you'll know it. But so there's surprises in there as well, and
It's
things
not,
that
it's
go
not
around
Leonardo
corners.
DiCaprio. I thought it was going to be Leonardo DiCaprio. It's not.
That's not. So we'll spoil that. He's not in the movie.
It's not.
But I would say go see it. But if you are going to, I would say go see it with the IMAX. Spend the extra money for the large screen and the extra because this is a spectacle of a movie.
Drink coffee.
It's a long movie. Go to the bathroom before you go in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people didn't make it.
All right.
All right.
Excellent. Yet another one in the can.
Yeah, and I imagine, okay, this is going to be, they're coming fast and furious.
That's right. Well, we're getting into the holiday season now, so like lots
Meryl
of movies
Streep
coming up.
pretending to sing.
I saw like
gonna be-
like 5 movies coming out on Christmas, and all of them
Wow.
want to be like the
Yes,
Christmas spectacle movie.
Right.
So we'll do the best we can, but there's a lot coming out now.
I'm
We're
going to see
after a long
all of them.
summer and fall of just a couple
All
good
of
movies.
them.
All of them. That's ambitious. I will do my best to keep up. But I'm glad I have you.
He
for
won't.
these things. I won't.
Thank you for being with us.
All right. Thanks for watching. This is Tony.
I'm Louie.
And we'll see you next time. There you go. I put mine somewhere.